Hello, welcome to Bass Guitar Review. I'm Kev Sanders and today we're going to be looking at an Overwater Hollowbody Thinline 4 Fretless. Overwater basses are handmade in the UK by Chris May and his team up in the Lake District. They've been around on the UK custom scene for over 40 years now, and in that time they've built up a fantastic reputation, delivering high quality instruments at a price more within the reach of working bass players than some USA built custom builders. In particular, their Progress series has been very successful, becoming almost an industry standard among the London session bassists, particularly it seems in the theatre and entertainment worlds. Today's instrument is Overwater's relatively new Hollowbody model. This stands out in the range as the only single cut shape on offer. The body is swamp ash topped with figured English walnut, whilst the 34-inch scale neck is 3-piece maple, which continues through the body to form the centre block with the two hollow wings on either side. The fretless board is ebony inlaid with maple fret lines, and the hardware is all Overwater's own design, featuring an ebony bridge with adjustable chrome saddles, chrome mini machine heads, two SB4 pickups with matching walnut covers, and an active preamp with 3-band EQ. This bass comes in at £4,150, which includes a Hiscox flight case and 5-year warranty. As a custom shop though, Overwater can customise the spec of your bass in more or less any way you like, with a huge range of fancy timbre options listed on their website at corresponding upcharges. Having owned and enjoyed an Overwater bass myself many years ago, I was keen to see how the brand has developed, especially considering this new direction they've taken with the Hollowbody and single cut design. Before we get to my thoughts, let's have a listen to a few more playing clips. My first impression was immediately of quality. To me, the use of English walnut harks back to a centuries-old heritage of traditional British craftsmanship and seems very apt for a top-flight Cumbrian-made instrument. Offset against the dark, rich walnut and ebony shades, the pristine maple and creamy swamp ash with its strong, rust-coloured grain pattern provides very smart visual contrast, giving a striking look but also delivering a tried and tested timbre combination that we've seen on plenty of high-quality instruments before. For my taste, I thought the chrome tuners and the black plastic control cover felt a little out of place next to the beautiful timbre and fittings, but both can be spec'd differently if you custom order the bass. Now I'm more used to seeing single cut basses with 5 and 6 string necks, but this one manages to avoid looking unbalanced in the way that some of the 4 string single cuts can. Despite the large top horn, it's still a very ergonomic design, with the back being carved away to give excellent access to the upper frets, particularly handy on a fretless bass where players might find themselves regularly soloing the top registers. As you'd expect from a hollow body, the bass has a loud acoustic tone with a rich and resonant yet consistent sustain. Plugging in, the tone feels refined and, dare I say it, expensive. You don't have that uncontrolled sustaining growl that some fretless electrics I've played suffer from. Instead, the playing experience brings in the very best elements of a nice acoustic fretless. Not only does it work exceptionally well for jazz and soloing, but as an electric player, if you wanted to be able to cover some of the tonal spectrum of the double bass, this would certainly do that. Given the decades of building experience that Chris at Overwater has, I suspect that all this is very much by design rather than just a happy accident. And the result is it has a fantastic voice that is genuinely versatile for a fretless bass. Tweaking the controls as I played, I was struck that it's next to impossible to get a bad sound out of this bass. The tonal differences between the two pickups isn't as extreme as many basses, and the active EQ controls seem weighted to give more fine adjustment around the centre marks. There's also a bright boost that you can activate by pulling the volume control, which is a very subtle effect, but it's nice to have on hand. The Overwater designed hardware is all very functional, and the ebony bridge in particular is cool. In theory, giving the best of both worlds with the adjustable chrome saddles and dense ebony bridge plate. It's worth mentioning too that you can order this bass with an undersaddled piezo system, which will emphasise the acoustic quality of the sound further and should benefit from the use of wood instead of metal for the bridge base plate. I was also really enamoured with the beautifully designed and manufactured knobs, giving a feeling of precision engineering, and also look great against the walnut top. The actual build of the bass is exquisite, with perfect tolerances and no visible flaws at all. There are neat touches everywhere you look, such as the sliver of ebony between the neck and the body, and also between top and back. Obviously, this is quite a specialised bass. In fact, fretless in general feels like a bit of a minority sport these days. But for a player who's looking for an heirloom quality fretless instrument, they'd be hard pressed to find anything better out there, both in terms of quality and sound. £4,150 is quite an investment to make, especially if it's going to be a bass that might only see use on certain occasions. But placing it in the context of handmade instruments by similarly experienced and respected luthiers, it actually represents good value. Imagine speccing a bass like this from one of the leading American custom builders. You could easily end up paying double for something of equivalent quality. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it informative. Don't forget to subscribe and click on the bell icon to be notified of our future videos, and do let us know if there's any piece of bass gear that you'd like to see us review. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time on Bass Guitar Review.